without these regulations, what you're left with...
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission will tomorrow know whether the pronouncement made by a 3 High Court judge bench affirming a constitutional provision that presidential election results shall be announced at the constituency tallying centers will be final. The parties to the case, including the interested parties, concluded their submissions over 2 weeks ago. The opposition alliance NASA is the main respondent in this case that they won at the High Court. It was presided over by Justices Agri Mushelule, Weldon Korir and Chacha Mwita, who held that the presidential election shall be final at the constituency level.
In respect of the presidential election, what the constituency returning officer does and the ability that is donated to him by the Constitution and the law is to make an announcement of the results.
The IEBC had submitted that the High Court had no business listening to the matter because it's a presidential dispute and can only be heard by the Supreme Court. Further, the IEBC submitted that the returning officers are not part of the commission and are not its agents, hence cannot make the final announcement.
A returning officer must have a direct contact with a presiding officer because it is the presiding officers who generates polling station results. Does Nairobi come into contact, or the National Tallying Center for that matter, does it come into contact with any polling station presiding officer? It is our submission, they do not.
On the other hand, the opposition wants the Court of Appeal to uphold the High Court decision and agrees with its findings that once presidential election results have been announced and declared at the constituency level by the returning officers, that result is final and cannot be altered by the chairman of the IEBC unless through a court petition. The Court of Appeal retired to consider these submissions and will tomorrow make the final pronouncement on this matter. However, it can still end up at the Supreme Court in case it does not go the IEBC's way. One of the main arguments put on the table by the IEBC for consideration by the Court of Appeal is that if the ruling by the High Court remains as is, there may be miscarriage of justice just in case there is an error that needs to be corrected by the Commission. All factors constant, the Court of Appeal will have an opportunity to pronounce itself on Friday. Ken Mijungu, NTV.